All right, everyone, good morning. So today, 8.2, we're starting off on page 303, and it's on perpendicular lines. Yesterday, where we were talking about parallel, so in review, that's two lines. When you have two lines that go, they always stay the same distance apart. One thing I forgot to say, well, maybe I did say it. It doesn't matter how close they are. So you can have two parallel lines that are like almost touching but not quite, and they're still parallel. Or you can have two parallel lines that are quite far apart. They're still parallel as long as they stay the same distance apart. So hopefully there weren't any issues there. But today's perpendicular lines. And the definition of perpendicular, so note taking time, you don't have a lot today. A two-line segment where our two-line segments are perpendicular if they intersect at right angles. So in order for it to be perpendicular, they have to intersect, which means they need to meet. They need to touch. But it's not enough that they touch, because technically in X, or they all touch, they all intersect. But these ones intersect at 90-degree angles. So it is perfectly 90 degrees. That's really the secret to a perpendicular line, is they kind of run into each other at 90-degree angles. So to make it a little prettier, let's do this. Okay, like that. And then again. Set this guy. Needs to touch. Oh, well, there you go. But you get the idea there. And it's at a 90-degree angle. Now, how do you know for sure that it's 90 degrees? You can use our handy-dandy friend, the protractor, which we have here. You can measure it. Is that really 90 degrees? And as you measure it, you can find out if it is or if it is not. My thing is being a little wonky here, but you get the idea there. Uh-oh. That's not good. There we go. That's better. All right, so there's a couple different ways that you can measure to see if two lines that you think are perpendicular, if they're actually perpendicular. One way that's kind of an interesting way I didn't know about is, it's called if you're looking to draw a perpendicular line. So the way to find out if it is you just measure it. Is it 90 degrees? Get out your protractor. To draw it, there's actually a lot of different ways you can do it. One way is the bend your paper method. So you take a piece of paper with your line already drawn on it, and you bend it the opposite direction of that line. And then you're going to have a pretty little crease there. And that crease will, a lot of the times, be 90 degrees. And I drew it, and look at that. Two perfect right angles there and there, and you got yourself a perpendicular angle. Now, you can't fold every piece of paper you're using, so there's other ways to draw a perpendicular line as well. The next one is to use a right angle triangle. So if you want to draw one, so first off, so let's say you have your bottom line here. I'll draw it just like this. Okay, nice straight line. Then you have a right angle triangle. And you might say, Mr. Candy, where am I going to find a right angle triangle? Well, in your geometry set, you have a right angle triangle. I actually tried to find a picture of one, just like I have a picture of the compass over here. But for some reason, they were all at a weird angle. It was hard to get them. But yeah, you have one, and you don't use it for much. You use your compass all the time. You use your protractor all the time, and your ruler tons. You don't often use your right angle triangle. Well, here's a perfect use for it. So you just place it right there. You have yourself a beautiful right angle ready to roll. and then you would just draw along it. So if I'm going to draw, I'll draw it in a highlighter just so it's not all black on black. And then you get the idea. So now you have a right angle triangle again. So paper folding method, using that right angle triangle that never does anything in your geometry set. Another, and I'm on page 303 and 304 if you want to follow along in the ways you can draw your very own perpendicular lines. Next up, let me draw the baseline here again. I'll use an actual shape so you don't have to worry about my squiggly wiggly. Oh, come on now. Anyway, you get it. Let's delete that. Okay. Okay, so we got a nice straight line. I want to draw myself a perpendicular line. Well, the next way is you can get your protractor out. So the geometry set is your friend. You're going to line it down right there, right on the line. Get your pencil out. Okay. You're going to put a line, a dot on the line, or at 0, right kind of at the center, and then right at your 90 degrees. You're going to put a little line or dot or whatever you want to say. Get rid of your protractor. Oh, look at that. You've got yourself a line. I deleted my protractor. I think we're done with it anyway. And then all you need to do is get out your ruler and draw a line that connects that dot to that dot. Except I think I started drawing it in the wrong spot. Let me try it again here. Okay. Now, I'm going to move this over a little bit. Perfect. And there you have a beautiful perpendicular line. Well, beautiful might be a bit of a stretch, but you've got your 90-degree angles. Wonderful. So there is method 1, 2, and 3. The next way, which I'm not going to show you, is using a mirror, not a mirror, a mirror, which would be on page 304. You can see they use these little special tools. You've probably used them before in math. It's a way to kind of give a reflection, but you can use that to draw one as well. And last but not least, again, you got to use the compass. You got to use all the tools in the geometry set. There's a way to draw one with a compass and a ruler, kind of similar to what we did back on Monday. Now, again, it's hard to show you the compass maneuvers on a screen, so I've included a short 2-minute video on how to draw perpendicular lines using a ruler and a compass. So you've got, with parallel lines, you have 3 ways to do it. This way you have 5, count them, 5 ways to draw yourself a beautiful perpendicular line. And that's what you're going to be doing for your work today. So hopefully this is helpful. After this video is over, please watch the short one I've included about how to use a compass and a ruler to draw perpendicular. If you do have any questions, drop me a line. And hopefully you guys had a informative lesson today. If you have any questions, please just let me know.